When a man starts drinking more, he's not just thirsty, he's drowning in something deeper. And for Emmett in season 7 of The Chi, that drink might be the start of a dangerous fall. Emmett Washington wasn't always the man we see today. In fact, if you rewind to the early seasons of The Chi, you'll remember him as the smooth-talking teen who loved women, hated responsibility, and lived life with no real direction. He was charming, sure, but also reckless, a young father who barely knew how to take care of himself, let alone raise a child. Every time it looked like Emmett might be ready to grow up, he found a new way to run from reality, whether it was through girls, fast money, or simply pretending everything was fine. But The Chi is a show built on growth, and over the seasons, we watched something rare happen. Emmett started to change. Not overnight, not without mistakes, but bit by bit, he grew into something better. He stepped up for his son. He fought for custody. He opened up Smokey's BBQ, turning hustle into something legal and long-term. He started understanding what it meant to show up not just as a father, but as a partner, a son, and a man trying to do better in a broken world. His journey wasn't perfect. The heartbreak with Tiff, the pain he caused with his cheating, those choices didn't disappear. But instead of hiding from them, Emmett started facing the consequences. That's what made his relationship with Keisha feel different. Keisha didn't want a fantasy. She wanted someone who could be real with her. Someone who could be soft, strong, and honest even when life got ugly. And for a while, it seemed like Emmett was becoming that person. Fans rooted for him, not because he was flawless, but because he was trying. Every step forward felt earned. And in a neighborhood like the South Side, where the odds are often stacked against young black men, watching Emmett fight to be better was more than just good TV, it was powerful. But growth doesn't always last, and just when it seems like Emmett is finally on solid ground, season 7 shows us a different side of him, the quieter, more dangerous shift. It's not loud, it's not violent, but it's real. It's in the way he reaches for a drink at the end of the day, not to celebrate, not even to relax, but to escape, to block out the pressure building inside. This is the same man who built a business, fought for love, and said he wanted to be better. So why now, when he finally has something to lose, is he starting to slip again? To understand what's happening. In season 7, we have to go back. We have to remember what Emmett's been through. Because no matter how far he's come, the past has a way of following you. And sometimes it shows up as a bottle in your hand when you think no one's watching. So, let's break it down. How did Emmett get here? Why is his old habit of avoiding pain showing up again, but this time through drinking? And most importantly, what could this mean for everything he's built? Season 7 of The Chi wastes no time showing us that Emmett isn't okay. On the surface, things look good. He's still running Smokey's BBQ. He's still with Keisha. He still has that confident smile when people walk through the doors of his restaurant. But if you pay close attention, something's changed. The light behind his eyes isn't as bright. His shoulders seem heavier, and most of all, the drink in his hand shows up more and more. This isn't casual drinking. This isn't a man celebrating success. This is something else. This is the kind of drinking people do when the walls feel like they're closing in. When the weight of life becomes too much to carry sober. And for Emmett, that pressure has been building for a while now. Running a business in a tough neighborhood, trying to be a good partner, raising kids. It's a lot. And somewhere in that pile of stress, Emmett is starting to sink. It starts small. A drink at night, maybe after a rough day. A way to take the edge off, as people say. But when that drink becomes a pattern, when it turns into a habit instead of a choice, that's when it gets dangerous. And what makes this so real, so human, is that Emmett isn't falling apart in a loud, dramatic way. He's still showing up. He's still going through the motions, but he's doing it with a mask on, one that hides the fact that he's breaking down on the inside. Asterisk, and let's not forget the emotional toll of everything he's been through. He's still healing from heartbreak, still trying to rebuild trust with Keisha after all the mistakes he made, still trying to be the kind of father he never had. That kind of pressure doesn't just go away, it builds up, and for someone like Emmett, who spent most of his life pushing his feelings aside, alcohol becomes an easy way out. A shortcut to silence the noise. Asterisk, we see moments where Keisha notices something's off. She looks at him a little longer. She asks questions with her eyes, even when the words don't come out. And Emmett, like he's done in the past, brushes it off. He doesn't want to seem weak. He doesn't want to admit he's struggling. Because in his world, vulnerability can be dangerous. Admitting you're overwhelmed doesn't always feel safe, especially for a man who grew up thinking he had to be strong all the time, no matter what. Asterisk, that's the heartbreak of it all. Emmett doesn't want to fall back into old patterns. But he's slipping anyway, and the scary part, he might not even see it happening. That's how drinking creeps in, quiet, slow, until one day, you're not just drinking to relax, you're drinking to feel normal. Asterisk, and when you've got responsibilities like Emmett, a business, a relationship, children, slipping doesn't just affect you, it ripples out, it touches everything and everyone around you. That's what makes this storyline so important. It's not about the alcohol itself. It's about the pain he's trying to bury, the silence he's drowning in. And if no one steps in, it might be too late by the time Emmett realizes how far he's fallen. Asterisk, that she has always done a powerful job of showing how real-life struggles play out, not just through big, dramatic moments, but through the small, quiet choices people make every day. And in Season 7, Emmett's choice to drink might seem small at first. But we know better. We've seen what happens when pain gets ignored. When love isn't enough to fix the damage someone's still carrying inside. Asterisk. So now the question is, what's next? Will Emmett keep hiding behind the bottle? Will Keisha step in before things get worse? Or will life force him to confront his demons head-on, whether he's ready or not? Asterisk, Emmett's struggle with drinking in Season 7 isn't just about stress. It's not just about being tired or needing a break. It's something deeper, something that reflects a much larger truth about manhood, pain, and the silent battles so many people fight alone. Asterisk, what makes The Tea such a powerful show is how it handles real-life issues without making them feel like a lesson. It doesn't preach, it shows. And with Emmett, what we're seeing now is more than just a personal problem. It's a reflection of what happens when people grow up in environments where vulnerability is seen as weakness, where showing emotion can be dangerous, and where nobody ever taught you how to cope with the weight of life. Asterisk, Emmett has always tried to carry more than he's ready for. That's been his whole journey, taking on too much, too fast. From being a teenage father to becoming a business owner in a tough city to trying to build a family with Keisha while still healing from his past. It's a lot, and for someone who was never really given the tools to process emotions or deal with trauma in a healthy way, drinking starts to feel like the only thing within reach. Asterisk, this isn't just Emmett's story. It's the story of many young Black men, especially those who grow up in environments where the focus is survival, not self-care. Where therapy isn't talked about, where emotional pain is something you're expected to man up and push through, where every day you're told to be strong, even when you're breaking inside. That kind of pressure builds up, and if it doesn't come out in healthy ways, it finds other ways to escape. Through drinking, through anger, through silence. Asterisk, and that's exactly what makes Emmett's drinking so dangerous. It's quiet, it's subtle, it's not a crash, it's a slow slide. And the show is smart to show it that way, because most people who are struggling don't fall apart all at once. They keep smiling, they keep working, they keep saying they're fine until they're not. Asterisk, there's also something to be said about the role of masculinity in this storyline. Emmett has always tried to be the man, the provider, the protector, the one who holds everything down. But being the man has also made it hard for him to ask for help. He thinks he has to do it all alone, and that's a lie to many. Men have been told that needing help makes you weak, that breaking down means you've failed. But the truth is, real strength comes from facing your pain, not hiding from it. Asterisk, and we know Emmett has pain. It's all over his past, the absent father who came back late in his life, the pressure of raising kids without much guidance, the heartbreak from cheating on Tiff and trying to rebuild trust with Keisha, the stress of running a business in a neighborhood where anything can go wrong. That kind of pressure doesn't go away just because you smile through it. It sits in your chest. It weighs you down. And if you don't deal with it, it deals with you. Asterisk, but there's also hope in this story because Emmett is surrounded by people who care. Keisha sees him. She knows his patterns. She's not blind to the change in his energy. His mother, Jada, has seen him fall before, and she's helped him rise. And then that's what makes this storyline so emotional. We don't want to see Emmett fall. We've watched him grow. We've seen the fight in him. And that's what makes the danger feel so real. Because it reminds us that growth isn't a straight line, healing isn't a one-time thing. Even when you're doing better, the past can sneak up on you. The pain can return. And if you're not ready, it can knock you right back down. Asterisk, the Chi is telling a very honest truth here. You can be a good person and still struggle. You can have people who love you and still feel lost. You can be doing everything right and still feel like you're barely holding it together. And sometimes you might reach for the wrong thing, not because you want to ruin your life, but because you don't know what else to do. Asterisk, and that's why this storyline matters, because it shows us the cracks beneath the surface. It shows us that even the strongest among us need help sometimes. And it challenges us, the viewers, to look deeper. Not just at Emmett, but at ourselves, at the people around us, at the unspoken pain we all carry. Asterisk, so where does Emmett go from here? Will he recognize the pattern before it's too late? Will he have the courage to ask for help, or will his pride and fear drag him down? In a show like The Chi, nothing is guaranteed. But one thing's for sure, the choices Emmett makes now will define his future, and that bottle in his hand. It might be the smallest thing in the scene, but it holds the biggest weight of all. Now that we've seen the warning signs, one big question remains: what happens next? Will Emmett pull himself out of this spiral? Or are we about to witness the most heartbreaking chapter in his story yet? Asterisk, let's talk about what fans are starting to speculate and what the show might be setting us up for. Asterisk, this is the outcome no one wants but everyone fears. Asterisk, Emmett might keep telling himself it's just a little stress, that a few drinks here and there don't mean anything. But the Chi doesn't show things by accident. If they're focusing on his drinking, it means it's going somewhere. And if Emmett doesn't stop soon, he could lose what matters most. Asterisk, let's look at the risks. First, his business. Smokey's BBQ isn't just a restaurant, it's a symbol of his growth. It's what pulled him out of street life and gave him real purpose. But running a restaurant isn't easy. It demands focus, time, and leadership. If Emmett starts showing up late, making poor decisions, or getting aggressive, his staff and customers will notice. One mistake, one bad night, could be enough to ruin everything he's built. Asterisk, next, his relationship with Keisha. This might be the most fragile part of his life right now. Keisha has already gone through more than most people could handle. She survived trauma. She rebuilt her life. And she made a choice to trust Emmett, to believe he could be a safe space, a real partner, a father figure. But if Emmett starts drinking heavily and emotionally withdrawing, Keisha will see the signs. And she won't wait around forever. Asterisk, he's been through too much to stay in a relationship that feels like it's falling apart. And if she ends up having to protect herself and the kids from Emmett's self-destruction, that could break him completely. Asterisk, and finally, there's his children. Emmett has worked so hard to be a present, loving father, something he didn't always have growing up. But kids are smart. They notice when something's off. If Emmett slips too far, it could damage those bonds, and worse, it could make him repeat the very cycle he swore he would break. Asterisk, asterisk, there's still hope, though. Because Emmett isn't alone. Asterisk, we've seen the Chi give characters second chances before. Redemption isn't just a theme, it's part of the show's DNA. If someone close to Emmett notices what's happening early enough, we might see an intervention that saves him before he hits rock bottom. Asterisk, and there are a few people who might be strong enough to reach him. Asterisk, Keisha. She's the most obvious candidate. She knows Emmett better than anyone. She's seen him at his worst and his best. If she sits him down, looks him in the eyes, and says, "This can't continue," it might be the only thing that cuts through the fog. Asterisk, Darnell. Emmett's father has been through his own battles. He's grown a lot over the years, too. If he sees his son starting to slip, Darnell might finally step up and share the truth about the pain he caused when he wasn't around and the path he almost took. Sometimes, hearing from someone who's been there is what it takes to break. Denial? Asterisk, Jada. His mother has always been a quiet force of strength in his life. She knows how to spot pain even when it's hidden. If Jada confronts Emmett with love, but also firm truth, it could shake him out of the denial. Asterisk, a wake-up call scene, raw, emotional, maybe even messy, could be the turning point for Emmett's arc. And if the writers go this route, it would be one of the most powerful moments in the season. Asterisk, asterisk, what if Emmett pushes everyone away, convinced he's fine until something irreversible happens? Maybe it's a violent outburst at work. Maybe he drinks and drives. Maybe he loses his kids in a custody battle. Or maybe, in a truly heartbreaking twist, he ends up in the same kind of trouble he's worked so hard to avoid: street violence, an arrest, or something worse. Asterisk, the Chi doesn't shy away from tragedy. And as much as fans love Emmett, the writers might be setting him up for a major fall, not because he deserves it, but because it's real. Because people in pain don't always get saved in time. Asterisk, if this happens, the show might use it as a lesson, a brutal reminder of what happens when pain goes unchecked, when help is rejected, when pride stands in the way of healing. Asterisk, asterisk, online. Fans are torn. Some are hopeful, pointing out Emmett's past growth, his love for Keisha, and his loyalty to his kids. Others are worried, seeing his quiet spiral as a clear sign that something major is coming. Asterisk, and in classic the Chi fashion, the show is keeping us guessing. They're planting the seeds, but we don't know which way the story will go yet. Asterisk, and maybe that's the point. Asterisk, because this storyline isn't just about Emmett. It's about all of us. The things we bury, the masks we wear, and the ways we run from pain. It's about how easy it is to slip and how hard it is to climb back out. It's about how sometimes the people who seem the strongest are the ones most at risk of breaking down. Asterisk, and that's why fans are watching so closely. Because Emmett's next move might not just change his life, it might change everything around him. Asterisk.